Yeah, okay. Uh, I'm audible? Yes. Okay, let's start. First, good evening all. Welcome everyone to dive into GitHub for open source. Whether you are new to GitHub or looking to enhance your skills, we have got a packed session for you. Um, yeah, today's event title is Dive into GitHub for open source, perfect for beginners. First, this is Bran, Beta Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and along with pre-technically also Beta Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, we will guide you through the and outs of GitHub. Let's dive into right in. First, she will start with an overview of GitHub and what is GitHub. So over to Pretty.
Yes. Thank you, Bran. Am I audible?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. I am Preeti, and I am a Beta Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. So, today we are going to dive into GitHub and how we can use GitHub for open source. So, first of all, what is GitHub? So, GitHub is a platform which is widely used for hosting and collaborating on software projects. Okay, so what is hosting and collaborating? So we understand that GitHub is a platform for software developers. So hosting is on GitHub refers to the practice of using the GitHub's infrastructure and services to share the code repositories. And so hosting basically is like if we want to create a project like a personal portfolio, then we can create that personal portfolio, store those codes onto the GitHub, and then host that portfolio website on the GitHub. So we have something called GitHub pages to do that. So that is one type of thing. And then there is another type of hosting called repository hosting. So if we have a project and we want to store the code somewhere, so then we can store those codes inside a repository on GitHub by creating a repo or repository. So these are the two key features of GitHub and the basics of it. Collaborating means we can collaborate with multiple other software developers to build a single product or project. And this GitHub is a very widely used platform around the world. And we can collaborate with, even if I'm sitting here, someone else on the other side of the world, we can collaborate on the same project. So GitHub is helping us with that. So the example use cases, as I've already told you, are the personal blog or portfolio project we can deploy on GitHub pages, and then we can create documentation about projects or about our all the code repositories we have, and even the small projects we have. Anything we can put it on GitHub. So now GitHub also provides us tools for version control. So version control and also issue tracking, also code review. Version control is, as the name suggests, we can control the versions of our project. Like it enables the developers to manage and track changes to their code base over time. So now I have made a simple HTML page of a website, and tomorrow I'm going to add a CSS page to that. So that is going to be the second version or the improved version. Or if some other time I don't like some feature of the project, I can revert back to the old version anytime. So this GitHub provides us a tool for version control seamlessly. And the next tool which we have is issue tracking. So issue tracking is in GitHub, we have a feature called issues. We are going to soon learn about these in depth in the upcoming slides. So issue tracking is also one of other feature. So if we are a team, and we are building a software project together, or some of my other friend has identified an issue in my project on my repository. So he or she would be suggesting me that there is an issue and I would like to work on that. So I would be assigning that issue to them, and they can make some changes into the code and they will submit it to me. And I'll be like, okay, that's good. And I can merge that code into my repository. So when I merge that, so I can so the feature which my friend had added will be added to the main repository. So this is issue tracking. So let's say take another scenario of a team working on a portfolio project. So let's say there is a manager, a developer, and a designer. We have certain tasks which are to be done, like let's say again take the portfolio project. So the first task is we need to create the structure of the project, which is going to be the HTML file. So that will be the first issue, and I will assign that. So the manager will be assigning that to the developer. Let's say the second issue is to design the home layout. So it's all about the CSS or the designing of the portfolio. So that will be assigned to the designer. And let's say the third issue is to create a contact form, etc., etc. So there are multiple issues in the project because we are building it from the scratch. So I am issuing each issue. So the manager is issuing each issue to the each role or each person, and they are going to work on that particular issue separately. And so this is how a collaboration works in GitHub. So after assigning each issue, everybody is working on that, and then everybody will be writing the code according to their role, their issue, and they will be submitting that code to the main repository or the manager. And the manager would be like, if it's okay, then he will be merging that into the main repository, which is the website. Else they will discuss about what are the points or where to improve on. Okay. So this is about issue tracking. So this is how GitHub provides us this tool called issue tracking. And then code reviews is like we can review everyone's code. So if I have added some code, the owner of that repository will be saying, okay, you have added this code. So these are the necessary changes. Could you please change that? Or like that. So we can have multiple code reviews so that open source projects. So open source projects are the projects which are open to everyone, of course. They are the software projects which can be accessed by everybody, or contributed by anyone. So those are open source projects. And even we can, if we are belonging to the tech stack or if we are interested in that, we can also contribute in open source projects using GitHub. So how GitHub helps in that? So GitHub is crucial for open source projects because it facilitates transparency, community collaboration, and project management. So as I already told you about the manager, so that is a key point of open source collaboration. Many people around the world can come together and work together on this GitHub platform. And it is very transparent. Everything is clear on the GitHub. We can see who is writing the code, who has been assigned what issue, everything. So this is about GitHub, an overview of what is GitHub. So now I have already told you. So let us understand GitHub. Each person in a team works on different parts of project, then puts them together to create something amazing. So you have seen how people can collaborate and work together on a single project, build something from the scratch using this amazing tool called GitHub. we have seen those features which would enable developers across the world to collaborate. Now let us see few key terms in GitHub. So the first key term is Git. Many people often confuse with what is Git. Is it different from GitHub or is it same as GitHub? So to clarify this, Git is totally different from GitHub. Git is open source version control system. That means this is like so GitHub is built on Git. So using Git, we can control the version as I've already told previously. So Git powers GitHub. So allowing developers to track changes, collaborate, and manage code repositories. So the developers can change, collaborate, and manage. So they would understand how. So they would understand. Pardon. So the developers would be understanding how to track the changes, and if the developers don't like certain version, they of the code or the software project. The next key term we have in GitHub is the repository. So till now, I've been talking about repository, repo, etc. Right? So what is this repository in GitHub? It is a folder where all the project files, including the version history, issues, everything about that particular project is saved. It is more like a folder. Yeah. So now coming to the pull request part, it is also a GitHub feature which allows developers to propose changes to a repository which can then be reviewed and merged by other contributors. Okay, so this is a big definition here. So what is a pull request in simple terms? I have a project and there is one of my friend who wanted to add some feature to that. So he had added that feature and he had submitted that feature to my GitHub repository. So that submission is called pull request in simple terms. So, so these are the key terms in the GitHub. One is Git, one is repository, and the other one is the pull request. Pull request, as I already said, it is kind of submission of the code which is done by some other developer to me, and I can either merge the pull request or I can suggest some changes which are needed to be done by the other contributor so that I can merge that pull request into the main code. So now let us go to how to start with GitHub. So getting started with GitHub is very simple. We just have to have a GitHub account and that's it. Know some basics of it. So the first step is to sign up with the GitHub account, which is the task I have already told as a prerequisite. So we will create a GitHub account and then the next step is we have to install Git to work in a local system. So this is like if we want to work with GitHub and Git on our local system to control the versions of projects, then we have to install Git. And the next thing is after going to GitHub, after creating an account, we can create something called repository. So repository is a new project. And then after creating the changes, we can commit those changes. So commit is again a keyword here. The commit is nothing but we have to save our work so that we don't lose the changes we make. So we have to commit the changes every time we make changes. So, and then finally, we can invite others to contribute to our project. So this is the collaboration part. So this is about getting started with GitHub and it is very simple. So now let's see a GitHub demo by Bran. We can just go to github.com and it is really simple. Bran, over to you.
Yes, thank you. So now is a practical for GitHub demo. So go to that www.github.com. So then let me share. Yeah, this is a GitHub interface. If you have GitHub account, click sign in. Or if you don't have, if you haven't GitHub account, so let's sign up for GitHub. Enter your email address here and then click sign up. Oh, I have a GitHub account. So I will click sign in and then email address and password. So, okay. So before that, I think share screen. So now I look in my GitHub. This is my GitHub, and then creating a repository. So to create a new repository, click on the new button on the GitHub homepage. Enter a repository name. Choose a visibility public or private and click create a repository. So you can find in the GitHub, click plus icon and then new repository. The repository name is demo repo and description. This is the description. If you should names are short and memorable, neat interface. How about that repository? And make sure is public. And then if you want to add a readme file, so you just click add a readme file and then create a repository. Now the repository is created. So and then cloning a repository. Once you have a repository, you might want to clone it to your local machine. To do this, click on the code button and copy this URL. Then in your terminal or in your VS Code, use the command git clone. So that is how to get the clone URL. So click the code button and then HTTP. This is a clone URL. Copy the URL on clipboard. Just wait. Let me share an entire screen. Is it possible? Yeah, that's yeah. Done. No, sorry for the disturb. Okay, let me share entire screen. Okay. So this is a clone repository and come to this code and then clone repository, the paste and select the location and then the repository was cloning. Then open that terminal. Yes, done. And making changes. After cloning the repository, you can make changes to files. Use the text editor or IDE to edit the files. Once you have made changes, you can stage them using git add and git commit your message. So pushing changes. Uh, so let me create a new file using git command. Mm, I copy and paste. Now, yeah, hello.txt was created. EC echo hello jitter and then hello.txt. The hello.txt is created and tracked. The U symbol is there. And then um, states the changes. So git add, if we can update the git add git space add top. And now you change to A. A was index added and commit the changes with the messages. That code is git commit hyphen m and then commit message. The commit message was at hello txt with the welcome message. Whatever you can type your commit message and enter. Yeah, the one file change, zero insertions and zero deletion. And then uh, push pushing changes. To push your changes back to GitHub, use the command git push origin main. This update the repository on GitHub with your local changes. Uh, git push origin main. Origin main. Done. Now check that hello.txt file is successfully added or not in our GitHub page. So let me check that GitHub. Ah,
கைய போட்டுடான்றா வெளிது இல்லடா
okay. So now refresh and check that txt file is yeah, the txt file is successfully added. So 2 minutes ago. Um, so and then working with step repo on your local machine. Starting up Git. First, ensure that Git is installed on your local machine. You can download it from the official Git website. After installing, configure your GitHub username and email using commands. So, open, open that new terminal.
Yeah.
Yes. And now open that new terminal. The code is git config global user dot name, and my username is yes. Step set your username. So then sorry, then enter. And now configure our email. Here as so my email is Bran Livinston 16 and then enter. And cloning a again, yeah, cloning a repository. Clone the repository on your local machine using Git. Already I said you. Uh, I take again that already I cloned the repository like this demo repository. So git git clone that clone repository, cloning into demo repository. So yeah, that repository is cloning successfully. And then branching. Create a to work on a new features or bug fix. Create a new branching using git checkout b and new branch name. This helps keep your changes organized and separate from the main code base. So that code is git checkout hyphen b. So switches to new branch, new features. The branch name is new features. And committing changes. Make your change stage then with git add and commit a message. Remember to you commit frequently to keep your track um, with your progress. And git add dot. Git add dot. Yeah, you have add another git repository inside your current repository. Clone the other. So and then commit message. The commit message goes git commit add new features. Then enter. Now merging branch. After completing your work on the branch, you can merge it back into the main branch. First switch to the main branch using git checkout main. Then merge your branch within a git merge branch name. Git checkout main branch. So unable to reminder directory not empty. Switching the to branch. Done. And sharp right. And now it's your turn. We will give you a small hands-on task to practice what we have covered. Create a new repository, clone it to your local machine. Create a new branch, make changes, commit in, push it back into GitHub, and create a pull request. So let me share my clone repository in your chat.
Bran, before that, could you please share the PPT?
Yeah, yes, yes. Wait. This is PPT, GitHub demo, and after that, what is open source?
Yeah. So now we are going to now dive into what is open source. So till now, Bran has showed you how to use GitHub on VS Code, how to use basic commands. So we will see them again in detail. We have seen the demo of it right now. Now again, let's see what is each thing. So open source. The name of this workshop itself is a dive into GitHub with for open source, right? So what is open source actually? I told you before. It refers to the software which is released with a license that allows anyone to view, use, modify, and even distribute. So it is having a free access. So anybody is able to do, able to modify, able to view it, able to use it for their own purposes. So that is what open source means. It is open for everyone. It is free to use. So which helps in collaboration, and that's it. So anybody can collaborate on our code, and um, and we can also view other codes too in open source. So if certain project is open source, then if I want to add some new feature, I can add it. Everybody in the world can add it. So there are multiple open source projects available on GitHub. You can check them out today. You can go to Google and just search open source projects on GitHub, and you will find plenty of them. You can explore them. You can, as you are learning basics of GitHub, you can try to add an issue there, and then you can contribute that. So let's go to the next part, which is key terms in GitHub for open source. So these are the most important terms when you are diving into open source using GitHub. So the first term is README. So in GitHub, we have something called a README file. This explains about everything about the repository, what the repository is about. It has what the project is about, who are the contributors, and what tech stack we are using. So if we take some open source project on GitHub, so each project in GitHub has a README file. So if you want to know the project, we don't have the time to look into the code and then understand what this project is about. So at that time, we can go to this README file, just read few lines, and we can get the entire summary of the project. So in open source, whenever we look at some project, we will go to that project and then go to README. We will read it, and we will next go to the issues section. So I have already told you about the issue tracking in the starting slides. So now coming to issues. After reading about the project, we will go to the issues. So I want to contribute to this project. I have liked the project. So how do I contribute? So there is a pattern here for contributing also. We will first check on to the issues. So after going there, we will see. So I have got an idea to add a feature X, but that feature was already mentioned in the issues. So then I can't. So that is very helpful by seeing issues. We can see how many people had the same idea, or what features what other features people are adding in the issues section. So if my idea is different from them, different from already issues which are assigned to other people, then I can raise a new issue. So I want to add this feature, like I want to add some contact form to this website, or etc. I want to improve the README. So these are different types of issues in each project. There are multiple issues, and issues can be either a bug or a feature, or we just want to improve the documentation part of the project. There are multiple issues we can add for the project, and overall, this will be helping in improving the project. So I have found an issue and I have been assigned with that issue to work on. So now what? So the next step is we have to follow these steps. Well, now we have to fork that project into our local repository. So this project is on someone else's repository, right? But we can't work on it directly. So first of all, we need to fork it. So fork doesn't mean the one which we have in our dining hall, but fork means here we are going to take the same project onto our personal repository, that is our personal account. So after that, from there, if we want to work on that GitHub itself, we can work. But if we want to work on a local machine, then the clone part comes. Clone is exactly same as the word says. We are going to copy that or clone that same repository or the project, which is on our personal GitHub account now, onto our local system. Now, after we got that clone into our local system, now we can start working. Okay, so now we have got the project into our local system. So now what? What is the next step? Okay, so in any project on the GitHub, there is something called a main branch. So uh, whatever project is there already, it is on the main branch. And if I want to add some feature or an issue, then I have to create a new branch to work on. So this is done to maintain the maintain the difference between the main branch and the new feature. Also, it is helpful for the future references to know who has worked on which issue or feature, and we can review easily. The branches are very useful part in GitHub. So now I can create a new branch separately for my issue. Branches can also have names. So if my feature is about contact form, so I will name that branch as contact form. And when okay, then after creating that branch, I can work on, so the branch has exactly the same code as the entire project. And in that branch, I would be working and there would be no change in the main branch. So that is about the branch. Bran, the sharing is stopped. So now we have seen about the branch. After I have written some code about my feature onto the branch, now it's time for us to commit it, which is saving it. Saving is the most important part. Who will lose the code after writing it with lots of effort? So now I will commit the code which I have written. And then after saving that, after I have finished everything working on it, I have committed it. Now I will send a pull request to the main branch. So I have worked on a separate branch till now. Now I want this branch to be merged onto the main branch so that the changes which I have made would be reflecting on the main project. So if there is a website deployed already, if I have added the contact form through another branch, if it is merged, then the main website should also show it. So that is about the pull request. So I can submit the pull request, but only after it gets merged, that feature or issue will be resolved or feature would be added to the main project. And finally, yippee, success. So that feature would be added after it is merged. So these are about the key terms in the GitHub and which are very important for the open source. There are many other terms and other things which you can dive deep into. So, but till now, these are the basic terms. So now more into open source contributions. So let us see in depth about the branches. Next slide, please. So you can see here, so you can see the top horizontal straight line, which is the main branch. So the left side node is the point where I have created a fork and I'm starting to work on a feature. So I have created a separate branch called feature from the main branch. And I have started working on that branch to add my new feature. So you can see 3 dots here, which are the changes which I'm making and committing. After that, I have submitted the pull request. Then I have got some more changes proposed by other developers or the owner of the repository about my changes. And after everything is done, after even I have changed according to their suggestions, then if everything is okay, then that pull request will be merged with the main branch. As you can see the right node, it is merged. So now the change which I have done, that is added a feature, will be reflected on the main branch and the code will be added to the main repository. So this is about the open source contribution and how it works. So after all this, now let's dive into the benefits of GitHub. So we have already seen how many great benefits we have. So the first benefit we have here is the version control. Version control, we have been talking about it since the start of this workshop. Version, we can control, we can have a control on versions of our project. So from the start till the end of the project, all the changes will be tracked, who contributed to which part, everything will be tracked on GitHub. Also, it is a big platform for the collaboration. Anybody can collaborate, and open source contribution can be increased. So because of this open source also, many students like us, or freshers who are starting to learn new technologies, can also try contributing to the projects which are on big level, and they can learn by doing. And then the documentation and issue tracking, that is also very good in GitHub. We can track our issues very nicely. And then we can integrate with other tools. So in GitHub, there are many other tools which you can integrate on. If you explore the GitHub, you can find many tools. And then we have code reviews, hosting and deployment. We can deploy our websites, like uh, we can deploy our static website on GitHub pages. It is also very simple. Static website means where the content is same and there is no change in the website content. Then we have community and networking. The security features are awesome. Project managing will be very easy through GitHub. So as I told the project manager example, so that will be very easy by tracking the issues, also the development. It becomes easy. It's also cost effective, as this GitHub is a free tool anybody can use. So it is really cost effective, of course. And then continuous learning. As I told previously, continuous learning. Anybody who is new to any tech stack, they can just dive into others' code. They can check out, they can learn new things, etc. So these are all the benefits of the GitHub which anybody can have without any doubt. Now let us quickly check what is the GitHub workflow in a brief. So we have already seen that, but let us quickly recap what is GitHub workflow now. So there are 3 steps here. Firstly, as I told, we will port the repository into our local repository, which is post the repository into our local account, and which we want to contribute to. So if you found some project very interesting, then I will port that repository into my local account. I will take a close look at it, and if I want to work on it, I will clone it to my local machine. So first step is done. I have the environment of the project set up on my local machine too by cloning it. Now the second step is to create a branch where I will make my changes. And now I will commit my changes. After making changes to it, I will commit them. But commit is nothing but saving our changes. So this branch keeps our work separate from the main code base. As we have seen in the previous slide, that illustration of main branch and new branch. So this is about it. It keeps our work separate from the main code base. And the third part is we will push our branch into the fork repository or the main repository directly, and then create a pull request. So after creating a pull request, which says what changes we have made, that will be merged into the original project. So this is the overall workflow of the GitHub and how open source also works. So now let us quickly see what are the basic commands in GitHub for open source contribution. So these are the basic commands which are on open source. So the first command is git clone. So git clone and the repository URL. So git clone, as I told you, firstly fork option is directly there on the GitHub account itself, but the clone is done using the git bash or a terminal. So we have to just type git clone and this one. For this, we need to install the git onto our local machine. So we'll click git clone and whatever repository or URL which we had taken, we will paste it there. And after hitting enter, we would have cloned that particular repository or the project setup onto our local uh, desktop. Then we have git branch. After cloning that particular project onto our onto a local machine, now we can create a branch to work on our new feature or issue. For that, we have the command called git branch and the branch name. So this will create the branch, but to go into that branch, we have something called git checkout and that branch name. So we can go to that branch and work on our issue. So after going to that branch, so after making some changes, we want to commit the changes, right? For that, we have something called git add dot, which will add all our files onto the GitHub machine. Uh, so if I click git add dot, then we stage all the files. That means they are ready to be committed onto the uh, they are ready to be committed or saved. So after clicking git add dot, I can commit that using git commit dash m and the change made. So git commit has a message which needs to be included every time we created a commit. So after committing that, I can directly push that particular change which I have made onto the repository. So after working on this entire thing, I can push the changes onto the main repository, which is pull request. So git push will be pushing the code onto the repository which we forked, so which is our local account, personal account, and then we will get an option if we want to pull request to the main repository. And if we click on that pull request, only then all the changes committed and pushed into our personal account will be sent as a pull request to the main account. And after that, we can have a discussion, and then the changes can be merged into the main account. So these are the basic commands. So now we have already seen the demo of the GitHub repo by Bran. He had also showed about the uh, how to create a branch, how to work on a branch, how to commit them to the repository. So he had shown how to work on the same repository by cloning it onto the local machine and committing the changes we wanted. So that is about it. And the next, we have a hands-on task for you. So that hands-on task for you is
Yes. So
yes, Bran.
I have to send in chat that clone repository. So create a new repository. No, clone it the repository on your local machine. Create a new branch or a new text file, anything, and then make a change, commit it, push it back into GitHub, and create a pull request for this using that this repository, right? So then and click it. Can we wind up this session? So expand your knowledge by visiting Microsoft Learn platform. So you can find more than GitHub courses or Microsoft related any more modules or of they are in the learning modules. So you can visit this URL to Microsoft Learn platform and you get more knowledge about any like you want to learn any areas, any language, so you can find that Microsoft Learn and you will improve your skills. So, okay, if you have any questions for this, any doubts or that GitHub sessions or commit commit and create a brand, create a repository, or if you have any questions or doubts, please drop me in the chat.
Task you can make repository which finally if you want your knowledge then you can visit .com or this chat box to learn which is learn uh, for you and that is the link to learn. Also have a small for you to fill the QR code is displayed on scan the code and for the learn. Let me share code in the fill this from the student ambassador, which is a and some attendance is free to receive would be considered less form to so you have learned about the Git, learned what is Git open source, does the the open source to creation of GitHub, how to create a clone in the local machine, the uh, to you have learned all the to still dive deep, then you can definitely learn.microsoft. The link is sent. That's it. And finally, that forms two sent. One is the attendance sheet.
So great. Let's bind. Okay. I hope you all understand about this Git and GitHub, the practical session. And thank you for joining today. We want to extend a heartfelt thank you for each and everyone, for you for taking a time to be a part of this session. Your interest and enthusiasm for learning about GitHub and opportunities they offer are truly commendable. So let's continue to explore to the world version control and collaborative development deployment. It's a journey that can lead a amazing achievement. So guys, thank you once again and happy coding.